So this is what it looks like outside right now, about half an hour north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm in a suburb of Toronto called Richmond Hill, about half an hour north. We had a major snowstorm the last couple of days, but what better time to go bike shopping than in the middle of a snowstorm? So I picked up these two bikes in the last couple of days. I'm gonna get going on the blue one for the cheap bike build-off. Hello everybody. Okay, cheap bike build-off 2025. I wasn't gonna enter. I have plenty of vintage steel frames, all the usual specialized rock hopper, Konas, this and that, plenty of vintage parts, but I just didn't know how I'd price all that stuff. I don't have the luxury of a bicycle co-op where I live, where I have access to cheap parts. So I didn't know how I'd be under $150. So I was thinking the best way for me to enter would be to find the best complete bike that I can to have a solid start where I don't need a lot of parts, I don't need to change a lot of parts, and just take the restoration route, just work with what I have and make it look as good as I can just by putting work into it. So I was on Facebook the other day, as usual, and this bike came up. It was listed for $60 Canadian. She had dropped the price to $55. I offered her $40. She accepted. It was a half-hour drive from where I live. I went down and picked it up in the middle of a snowstorm. So let me grab the phone and I'll bring you guys closer to see what we're working with. Okay, it's a cheap old bike. It's a Sakai. Sounds Japanese. I haven't done enough research to know if it was actually made in Japan. It's got Tange 5 tubing, which I believe is the cheapest grade of the Tange tubing. I like the white head tube, even though it's not paint, it's just a sticker, but it's in good shape. But I just like that look. I think it adds to the vintage look. Basket, which is a plus. Cantilever brakes, my favorite. They're not they're Diacomp knockoffs. They're Lychee, but I mean, I don't really see the difference. If these said Diacomp on them, you'd believe it. They're aluminum. They'll polish up really nice. So we got the cantilever brakes. I like this cable stop. For a cheap bike, it's got an Allen key bolt instead of a cheap nut and bolt type. That's a nice little touch. Triple crank in the front. The rear derailleur has been changed sometime in its life. That's not original, but I'm gonna find something more period correct, if you will, something that goes better with this bike. I like the shape of the handlebars. I'm not sure about the stem. It's that'll polish up nice too, the stem, but I think I'm gonna change it with something that I have. Those are about the only things I'm gonna change. The rear derailleur, which won't be much money. The stem I might change, and if I have a better seat post. So starting with a $40 Canadian bike, which equates to about $30 US today, I have plenty of room. Tires are in good shape. The wheels are mismatched, but they're both silver, so I'm gonna work with that. Yeah, so my entry into this contest is going to be a lot of restoration, a lot of elbow grease, rather than the best looking bike or the coolest looking bike. I'd probably win the cheapest bike of the contest if there was such a part to it, but But anyways, today's the 17th. I'm very late. I only have 6 days to build the bike up and make a video out of it. So I got a lot of work to do. So join me if you like, and hopefully I'll see you in the video. Let's get started. This drive side cup is giving me a lot of grief, but I don't have to take it out, but I like to, just so if I'm going to sell this bike, I know that nothing is seized on the bike, and I can honestly tell the person that the bike is completely serviceable. So I mean, a stuck cup like this, anybody knows that can ruin a bike. So I don't want that to happen. If this bike needs a new bottom bracket in a couple of years, you know, I want to know that and I want to let the new owner know that it's completely serviceable. Using a little gasoline here. Usually works really good. Perfect. I can use the wire wheel on these, but after the wire wheel, these parts tend to flash rust, so I much prefer the evapor rust. So that's what we're going to do. We'll soak these overnight and they should come out nice and clean. And the arms themselves I'm going to clean up and run them through the polisher buffing wheel quickly, get them all shiny. And brake pads, I may go with newer brake pads. Alright, problem number one. Just when I thought everything was going very smoothly, wanted to use all the original parts that came with this bike. So I got the bottom bracket in. When I initially got this bike, the drive side crank was loose on there. The bolt was loose. I didn't think much of it, but now that I put the bottom bracket in, I tightened up the crank. The crank is very wobbly. So what happened is, of course, the steel axle is tougher than the aluminum crank, and because it was ridden so loose for such a long time, it ruined the taper inside the crank. I tried all 4 locations to be able to get it decent, but it won't work. I mean, I could leave it, but I'm not gonna leave it because I want somebody to ride this bike. I want somebody, the next person that gets this bike, to ride it for a long time, and it's not right. Plus, every time you look down at the crank, you're gonna see that wobble. That would bother me. So, change of plans. I'm probably gonna put a sealed bottom bracket in, and then see what 3-piece triple cranks I have in the parts bin. So here we go with a used sealed bottom bracket. Okay, everyone, bit of a change of plans here. I'm going after with a different look, sort of like a cafe racer look. I trued up the wheels, I cleaned the freewheel, I mounted up the tires. Wheels are in good shape. I have the original chain. I'm going with a different set of bars and a stem. I'm keeping the shifters, the original shifters, and the original brake levers. I'm gonna mount this, the front derailleur, the front shifter, suicide style, just for something different. And polished up the brakes. They're looking good. Bridge cables are okay. Everything is out of the evaporust, looking good. Front derailleur, original. It's a very nice piece. Goes with the bike. Found another rear derailleur in the parts bin. If I have, I'm gonna add everything up, whatever I've added to the bike, but if I have money left over, I'm gonna go with these MKS pedals that I have. I love these pedals. I don't know if there'll be money in the budget. Probably there will be. So I'm gonna start putting it all together now. Hi everybody, just wanted to cut in here quick, explain a few things. The bike is almost done. I'm down to picking the right seat for it. I have ugly and uglier. So given this style of bike I built, I want kind of like a sleek looking racing type of saddle. This is a Concord, San Marco Concord from the 80s. A beautiful saddle. Actually, I used to, in my teens, I used to race on this very same style saddle. I'm hoping, I wanted to use this, but it's in pretty rough shape. So what I'm hoping to do is polish up this silver seat post up to a high gloss, like a mirror-like finish. Make this look really mint, so that, you know, I can pull off that ratty look with this saddle. I think if this is all nice and high polished, it'll kind of hide the wear on this saddle. That's what I'm trying to get away with. Let's see if I can make that work.